Hey friends, I'm Paige and this is Ratface. Today we're going to talk about the 2 weeks we stayed in an RV near New Orleans during a deep freeze. After a month at Margaritaville, Texas, it was time to hit the road again. Where would we go next? To Florida to see our friends in Tampa and then hit Disney World. When planning the route, we realized the natural stopover for us would be in Louisiana. And better yet, we could hit New Orleans. During Carnival season, no less. And that's how we ended up in Livingston, Louisiana for 2 weeks at a place called the Lakeside RV Resort. There's actually an RV resort in the heart of New Orleans in the French Quarter. But we opted not to stay there, at least not this time, for a number of reasons. Number one, it's pricey. Sites range from $120 to $155 per night before taxes or anything else, depending on the type you get. Having just overpaid for a stay at Margaritaville, Texas, and on our way to Disney World, we were looking to save money where we could. The second reason is that it would add a significant amount of time to the route. Roads in New Orleans can be tight and have a lot of traffic. It would be difficult and stressful driving in the RV. And the fourth and final reason we didn't stay in the French Quarter is that we were both really busy at work. We were only going to sightsee maybe a day or two, and then the rest of the time it really didn't matter where we were staying. So Livingston it was, and at $36 a night after taxes and fees, I can tell you I was already happy with the price. For some context about my reviews, we're full-time RVers and we both work full-time remotely. Chiefly we're looking for a low-drama stay with full hookups, a safe area, and quiet nights of rest. We like to be nearby things, but we don't have to be right in the thick of things. Basically, as long as it's a quick, half hour to even a couple of hours of driving, depending on what it is, we're okay with doing that since we tend to sightsee on the weekends or when we're off. So, what did we think about Lakeside RV Resort? Well, I'll show you around the park. See the pool. Look at that. When they say Lakeside, they really do mean Lakeside. See the trees. You see the other RVs on the other side of the lake there. Those spots are available. How pretty. Absolutely gorgeous. And here we are, driving by the lake. You see some little kayaks there. And as we drive around, you can see there's not a lot of room between the sites. Not much lawn on your campsite between you and your neighbor. You can see the park was maybe about half full over here on the lakeside, which is very telling actually. The lakefront spots were more expensive. In the rest of the park, including the side we stayed on, it was actually even more packed. And here's another overhead shot. You can see again how close together the sites are. There's the pool. That's the building there with the bath and shower house and the laundry. And we're pulling down onto our site, so you can see there, that's our black Jeep. And here is the laundry room. As you can see, it's not terribly big. And the price is $325 to wash, $425 to dry, which is mightily expensive. But you can see there's a number of washers and dryers. It's decently clean. There's a big table in the center of the room. Nothing too fancy. Very expensive, but it'll do. And here is the shower house right next door. You see you got this kind of area with the bathroom and the sink there. All the stalls on the left are the bathroom. Over here is the shower stalls. the 2-curtain system, no locking door. It's clean, but nothing fancy. There's 3 of them. Now this is actually pretty interesting. This is the game room. They've got a pool table. They've actually got the sticks over there. You see they got multiple machines. They got a racing machine, some kind of Pac-Man, a hunting game, a claw game, and air hockey. They've even got that little money changer over there. Really nice. And here's the playground. There weren't any kids there. It was pretty cold when I was videoing this, but you can see there's plenty to do. Got slides and a swing. And this car thing. And here's the pool area. And here's the camper lounge. You see me in the door there. Got a couch and a big TV. See, they got books and various entertainment there. And this table area back here. See, that wreath has the Mardi Gras colors on it because when we were here. And here's the dog park. I actually have a cat. You'll see him in a minute, but for you that own the canines. Central bark. And speaking of my cat, here's Justin walking Ratface. The most important review of all is Ratface's review, and he really loved going for walks here. You can see he's investigating a building here at the moment. He always wants to get places he's not supposed to be. He was a very big fan of this place, especially because there was lots of wildlife. Like, check out the swan. He was here every day. As far as nearby attractions, the park is close enough for easy day trips to both Baton Rouge and New Orleans. And the RV park in Livingston is only about 15 to 20 minutes from a full grocery and pet stores in outer Baton Rouge. We spent a day in the French Quarter. When we were in the French Quarter, we checked out Jackson Square, French Market, and we walked down Bourbon Street to find Preservation Hall, a historic jazz venue. Now, Preservation Hall had a special place in my heart because I got to open for them when I was a teenager at the Maine Center of the Arts. Yep, I was a saxophonist. But yeah, mostly in New Orleans we walked around. We actually walked up and down Bourbon Street. I know it has a reputation for being party central, but it's also very meaningful to me because of the jazz history there. And while we were there, we happened upon some of the most moving performances by buskers. And one of the neat things about New Orleans is that, you know, there's always people performing, always street musicians. So regardless of what kind of music you want to listen to, it's there, especially on the weekend like that. Anyway, after a while we were hungry and I wanted an oyster po' boy. And a guy came up with a menu. He approached my husband outside of just a random bar on Bourbon. And so Justin was like, "Do you have po' boys?" And the guy with the menu said, "Yep." So we came in only to learn after we were in there that it was owned by the family that gave Louis Armstrong his first horn, which was super cool. The place had really great drinks. It was a good vibe. It was really interesting just to stumble into that sort of thing. Then we walked to the waterfront and we watched the crowds as well as the steamboat tour pass by. We had a lot of fun in New Orleans. But let's talk about the unwanted visitor on this trip, the polar vortex. The second week we were here, there was a deep freeze cold snap from a blast of Arctic air, and the temperatures dipped into lows in the teens at night. I'll be putting out a future video with Justin on how we stay warm when we're on the move. But the Arctic blast meant we were inside most of the second half of our stay. So the sites being close together really didn't end up mattering much. And I was also glad I hadn't shelled out the big bucks for New Orleans because walking around the French Quarter wouldn't have been nearly as much fun in that bitter cold. So a brief list of pros and cons about the park. The first pro was that all the sites were paved, they were fairly long, and it was easy to park our Jeep there. The second pro, as you can clearly see, the lake was very, very pretty, and there were lots of wildlife. And I could actually see the lake every day from the couch where I tend to work a lot. And I tell you, it was a perk. Ratface loved it. There was that one swan who basically was our neighbor. It was fantastic. It was also really easy to get packages at the office. Now, they didn't have a full devoted mail center that was self-serve that you could go in, like I've seen at some other parks I've covered, like Shady Creek in the Dallas area. But they had a nice mail area kind of around the office and out back, and you just kind of went up to the desk and you could ask for your package, and it was a very straightforward process. There was also an escort to our site. Someone showed us there on a golf cart. And, you know, that's not necessarily a be-all, end-all, but it was nice to have somebody to show us the way. The park was actually really quiet, especially for how close together the sites were and how many people were there. I don't think I woke up once in the middle of the night for a noise or anything like that, which is a real perk. And finally, I thought the game room was pretty cool. Actually, it took me 2 or 3 different tries to go and get the footage that I showed you because it was so busy in there and I didn't want to bother people. So definitely a very popular amenity and very cool. I just had a few cons, and the biggest con, you could see the sites are really close together. This is one of those parks where your neighbors are right there. Second con is that the bathrooms are fine, but they're nothing special. Very average bathrooms, I would say, kind of a normal campground setup where all the showers are in one area and you don't have a locking door, just the curtains. I mean, it did the trick. I actually used the showers a few times when it was really cold and wanted to have a longer warm shower. Yeah, no frills on it. They were fine. And finally, the laundry room is fine. A little small, nothing too fancy. And I will say that doing laundry here was very expensive. It was $3 to wash, $4 to dry. They only took quarters. It was definitely the most expensive laundry room that I had seen on the road. So I kind of positioned it in the middle of my stay, so I only had to do laundry once. Overall, however, I would say it was great value for the money. It was safe, it was quiet, everything worked as intended, and at that price, I think it's pretty excellent. And the lake was absolutely gorgeous. I would definitely stay there again, and I'm already planning to. But that's my experience. Do you think I missed out not staying in the French Quarter RV park? Let me know about that in the comments. Or if you know of any other great places to stay in the New Orleans area, or places I should check out the next time I'm in New Orleans, stick them in there as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.